Tennessee, for the second straight year, has led the nation in the combined attendance of football, women's basketball, and men's basketball. They didn't finish number one in any of them, but they finished top 10 in all of them. And that is a huge accomplishment and a huge testament to what Danny White has been doing as the athletic director of this program. Leading the nation in attendance and combined attendance for those three sports really speaks to just how impressive this program has been. As far as the rankings, we're going to play a little hot or cold in a minute to discuss what this means, but they did have over 1 million people attend their combined games. It was more than 1 million attendees helped them repeat as the combined attendance leader. They had a total of 1,234,843 fans attend 41 regular season home games in Knoxville in football, men's basketball, and women's basketball. Such a huge accomplishment. Going to dive into that now. Let's play a little hot or cold, brought to you by City Heating and Air. 50 years in East Tennessee. Integrity matters. CityHeatandAir.com. CityHeatandAir.com. Let's roll. Hot or cold. The question is going to be this. For each ranking, are you hot or are you cold on Tennessee improving upon that ranking next year and in the years to come? So, we start with the engine that drives the train, as everybody says, football. Tennessee, according to UT Sports, had, I believe, 713,405 fans across its 7 home football games last year. That ranked 6th nationally. And their average mark of 101,915 also ranked 6th. Are you hot on that improving? I'm not. I'm going to say it, I'm not. I think there was a lot more excitement going into last year than there is going into this year surrounding Tennessee, and that was before the whole Nico saga and the Nico drama broke. I think the Nico drama has made fans even more skeptical. So I think Tennessee's going to drop in football from number 6 to probably number 4 or number 3. I'm actually cold on Tennessee football being able to maintain its attendance numbers. All right, next. Men's basketball. The men's basketball program was 3rd in the nation as they had a total of 340,436 fans come to see them play 17 home games. Their average of 20,026 fans was also ranked 3rd in the nation, and they were one of only 3 teams to post a mark above 19,000. All right, hot take on this. I'm cold on that. I think Tennessee, with a 5-star one and done, I'm lower on them now than I was on Rick Barnes in the past. Someone's going to have to change my mind, but as I told you guys on Monday, I don't believe in Rick Barnes' ability to have success with one and done 5-star talent. He's never had it before. He has had 8 5-star one and dones in his career, and only once, and when I say one and done, it's 5-star one and done freshmen, and only once did he get out of the first weekend of the NCAA tournament with one of those teams. That was in 2023 with Julian Phillips. Nobody believes Julian Phillips had anything to do with that team getting past the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. So I'm very, very, very cold on. I think they'll start hot, and they'll actually start better than they were last year because of the excitement behind Nate Ament, because of who else Rick Barnes gets in the portal, although he just missed on Rodney Rice, who went to USC. But I think that even if things are exciting in January, I think by February, things will fall apart a little bit. And I think that there will be a little bit of apathy set in February and early March, and that's going to cost Tennessee in attendance. So they'll still be top 5, but I just don't think they'll be number 3. I think they'll be number 4 or number 5 going forward. So that is my that's my thoughts on men's basketball. Now, women's basketball. All right. They were in, this is the interesting one. They were 4th in total attendance with 181,002 fans attending 17 regular season home games, averaging a crowd of 10,647. So they were 5th in the average, 4th in total, 5th in their average, 6th in attendance for non-conference regular season games. Second highest between Power 5 opponents. Is this one going to get better? This one I'm extremely hot on. I'm so hot on it that it could actually outweigh the drop in men's basketball. It won't outweigh the drop in football because football is just such gigantic numbers, but it could outweigh the drop in men's basketball. So I am extremely hot on Tennessee moving up to number 1 even in women's basketball next year. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say that right now. I think the Lady Vols will have the number 1 program in attendance next year in women's basketball because of how loyal their fan base is, and Kim Caldwell showed them enough to be excited about. They have the number 1 recruiting class coming in, so there is a lot to be excited about. Hot or cold, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. We are going to give you a quick message from them, and then we're going to address what we think they're going to do overall next year and what really contributed to this higher ranking. Hot or cold, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
All right, so the next 2 final hot or cold questions. Hot or cold? How about this? First, was Tennessee's rankings last year more due to the size of their stadiums, as they have a top 5 college basketball stadium and a top 10 college football stadium? So was it more due to the size of their stadiums, or was it due to the excitement behind the programs? Well, that one's easy. It's due to the excitement behind the programs. Tennessee was 6th in football. They do have the 6th largest stadium, so that matched. But then you go to basketball. They were 3rd in basketball, but they have the 5th largest stadium, and 4th in women's basketball with the 5th largest stadium. So it's about support for the program. What does help it is that the Lady Vols always have a base, because a base that's much larger than bases of other women's basketball programs. But no, it was actually about the loyalty to the program. So the final question: will Tennessee stay number 1 next year in its rankings? While I think Tennessee is going to slightly drop with its overall cumulative attendance because of football and men's basketball, and slightly drop in its average attendance, I think it's overall going to stay number 1. Michigan's going to get close. Michigan's going to threaten them. Michigan was only 1,000 people behind them per game last year with all those games, and they were only 100,000 people behind them. But they were 100,000 people behind them in cumulative. So I think Tennessee is actually going to win in terms of cumulative. I think in terms of actual average attendance, it depends on how many more home games they play than Michigan. Tennessee played a total of 41 home games among those 3 sports. Michigan played 39 last year, even though Tennessee still won the average. So I think Tennessee's going to have be number 1 in cumulative attendance. I do think they'll hold on to the number 1 spot in regular season average attendance, but I think it's going to be extremely close. Okay. It's going to be very difficult for them to hold on. It'll be very, very, very close. I think one of the things helping, I'm going to add a caveat though. A couple of the things, actually, I'm taking this back. I'm flipping this. No, they're going to fall. Sorry guys. I'm changing this in real time, and I usually don't do this, but I got to look at the schedules. And in football, Tennessee is going to drop below Michigan, significantly so, to the point to where Michigan's going to be number 1. So no, Tennessee is going to fall to number 2 next year. How about that? They're going to fall to number 2 behind Michigan. And there's a reason they're going to fall to number 2 behind Michigan next year. Tennessee in football, they get Georgia at home, where they had Georgia on the road last year. So that's a game to spike attendance, but it's at the expense of Florida and Alabama, which are both on the road. So they have fewer marquee home games this year than they did last year. Michigan, on the other hand, Michigan gets Ohio State at home this year after getting them on the road last year. And I think that will be the difference in why Michigan takes a slight leap over Tennessee. Michigan will be number 1. Tennessee will be number 2. I think it's down to those 2 schools, but I think Michigan's going to get the slight edge because they get Ohio State at home, and Tennessee's going to have to visit Alabama and Florida. That's 2 lost chances for home football games. So I think Tennessee is going to get finished number 2, but it's going to be close. This is like the 90s all over again when they had a rivalry over the biggest stadium, which was fun for that time for anybody who remembers.